Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the Protestant Education channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about my top 5 Christian fictional characters. So let's just get out of the way that this video is going to be extremely biased. And if you have any characters that you really like, I would love to read about them in the comments of this video. I also want to start off by giving an honorable mention to Ned Flanders. I never really got into The Simpsons, but in looking up people and looking up characters, there are a few I forgot about until I looked them up. Ned comes up a lot, so I just wanted to give him an honorable mention here. And also say that I don't really have the context for whether or not he's a good Christian character, but a lot of people seem to say that he is. So let's start with Father Ray Mancata from the TV show Oz. Oz was HBO's first television show, and it takes place in a prison. Father Ray Mancata works in the prison, the Oswald State Penitentiary, and he serves as a spiritual leader for the Christians and the non-Christians in prison. He tries to convert a lot of the non-Christians. One of the main things I like about Ray Mancata is the flaws. You see Ray angry. You see Ray curse and feel. And I feel like that doesn't really come up with a lot of Christian characters in media. A lot of them tend to lean closer to that, the stoic, closer to a Christ-like figure. This is really going to come up a lot in the last two characters that I'm going to talk about, being Ilyusha Karamazov and Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. But even when prisoners do Ray wrong, he still cares for them. He's mad, but he still cares for them. He gets his house burned down. But he's not a rollover guy either. He doesn't just completely roll over for people. He excommunicates at least one person in the show. I feel like it might be more than one, but it's been quite a while since I've watched Oz. So I'm not going to say anything definitively on that. But he's a firm believer in Christ. Now, he is a Catholic, and I tried to pick Protestants, but that's got kind of hard to do as I kept picking characters. I think I really only have one, I guess maybe two Protestants on this list. But Ray's great. I love Ray. I think he is probably one of the best Christian characters written of the last 20-30 years. So our next Christian character is going to be Herschel and, by extension, Maggie Green from The Walking Dead. And I was torn between including the Greens from The Walking Dead or maybe picking a different show or adding in a superhero character, maybe like Daredevil, Captain America, Superman, since I already have a couple of pretty dark shows on the list. Oz, I already mentioned Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. But I wanted my list to include lay people and preachers. And Herschel is a layperson, so... And Maggie is a layperson as well. I want to start off by just, adding context that The Walking Dead is dark. It's a zombie show, so naturally it's going to be dark. But, obviously the zombies aren't the only threat, because that's what appeals to people about zombie stories. So, there's zombies, there's horrible people, there's cannibals, there's gore galore in the show. And through the end of the world, through the brutal things that we follow the characters of the Green family and of the, Rick and Friends group, the Green family prays. There are scenes in season 2 and 3 of Herschel praying with his family. There's scenes later on in the show in Alexandria where Maggie prays with Sasha and Rosita. When they find Father Gabriel, Maggie prays with them. So through the end of the world, through this horrible thing and all the horrible events they go through, Maggie doesn't lose her faith. The faith that she was raised in doesn't disappear. Through the deaths of people close to her, she keeps going. There are certain things I'm really trying to talk around, because if you haven't watched the show, I don't want to spoil anything for you if you're interested in it. But I think Maggie and Herschel Green are two great Christian characters, even if it's not something that really gets highlighted nearly as much as some other characters on this list, such as, like I said earlier, Raymond Cotta, or even other characters in The Walking Dead, like the pastor that shows up later in the show, Gabriel. But I think it is still an important part to the character. Now, number 3 on our list is going to be Shepherd Book from Firefly. Now, Shepherd Book wasn't always a shepherd, and that's something that we get clued in on pretty quickly into the show. Shepherd Book serves as the moral anchor for the crew and seems to have knowledge that we're unaware of. And when you look more into the extended universe of the show, like the comic books that came out after the movie, Shepherd Book has a pretty rough past, and after that he converted and became a preacher, or a shepherd as they're called in the universe of the show. Now, Shepherd Book, it doesn't really, people mess with him all the time and make fun of his faith, but he doesn't say anything to them. He doesn't. The meanest thing he says is the special hell line. He says to Mal. And even that, he says halfway jokingly. But I think Shepherd is great. He cares a lot about the Bible, but it's, even when the scene where River's ripping up his Bible, he doesn't scream at her, he doesn't get mad at her, he just explains to her the faith and explains to her that, that's how it works. Because River's whole thing is that it's not scientific. It requires watching the scene to really kind of understand what I'm talking about, but River basically does the whole, like, oh, well, it doesn't agree with science, this is inconsistent, and rips up the Bible and starts writing all over it and quote-unquote fixing it. And the shepherd doesn't scream at her, he doesn't get mad, he doesn't yell, he just explains that it requires faith, and that faith is the most important thing. Now, our 4th character is going to be Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. Now, there's some debate around whether or not Thorfinn is a Christian character or not. I would say he is, but that's just me. There's people who would disagree. But Thorfinn starts the story as an angry, violent child bent on revenge. And through the violence, through the things he does, the things he witnesses, and after being a prisoner, a slave for a couple of years, he becomes a peaceful man. He allows 100 men to punch him so that he's allowed to walk free. And then he has a mission to build a place for refugees to live, essentially. Now, that's not the phrasing used in the show, but that's basically what he's trying to build towards the end of the show. And our last character is Ilyusha Karamazov of the Brothers Karamazov. Ilyusha is a young man who does a lot more observing than acting in the book, but he is a loving and gentle man. The book takes place during the modernization of Russia, and it follows around the death of their father, which Ilyusha's older brother is on trial for. Ilyusha always is loving. He is selfless. He is the character I was saying I usually tend not to care for at the beginning of this video. But yeah, he has a very close relationship with the elder zoisma, and he experiences doubt, but he has a commitment to do good. I also just really love Dostoevsky, so that's maybe, well, like I said before, the whole video is quite biased, but yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. If you have a Christian character that you really like, put them down in the comments and tell me why. And I can't wait to read those comments. So, yeah. Have a great rest of your day. God bless. And I hope to see you in the next video.